On 9th of July 2025 was a special day in Indian chess. It was the launch of Chola Chess program. We had an exhibition match between Arvind and Prag, and also an exhibition match between Karthikeyan Murli and Pranesh, and also between Vellayan Subbiah and Venkat Ramaraja. I was present there along with Rakesh Kulkarni for the commentary. Vishy Anand was also present, and so was RB Ramesh. We also had Aruna and Akhil coming there. This program is very special, and the people behind this program are here: Vellayan Subbiah and Kanika, and also Grandmaster RB Ramesh and his better half Aarthie Ramaswamy. What is Chola Chess? Chola Chess is basically Grandmaster training given to young budding talents of India at absolutely no cost. And it's a beautiful initiative by the Chola Mandalam company, and it is using its CSR funds to do this. We have already published a vlog on ChessBase India, but in this video we interview the 4 individuals behind this entire idea. Vellayan, Kanika ji, what you guys have created here with Chola Chess is absolutely incredible. Can you tell me the beginnings of it, the thought, from where did it happen, how did it come to here?
I think it was really Ramesh's brainchild, right? And Ramesh has always wanted, and he's been very passionate. Like I think he's probably the best chess coach in India right now, and he's really been so passionate about wanting to do something for the sport. He came to us in December and just said, this is something that I've always had as a dream. And obviously we've known Ramesh for a while now, I'd say a few years, and we've talked to him, and we started sponsoring some other kids, and we've been doing that. But we really thought about what it would take to create a more sustainable ecosystem. And so Ramesh came to us with this idea, and I'd say after that Ramesh and Kanika have been the 2 that have been really working on it. Aarthie's also been involved, but kind of all 3 of them have been basically working on this to really get it off the ground. But I think that the thought really came from Ramesh, which is great. And I think they've really made it, they've birthed it into a baby, I think, in this in less than 9 months, which is really nice.
When I entered here, I saw like Chola Chess written downstairs, then at the entrance, and then this huge complex, like 6 rooms, and with each and every room having a name. This is not common, to dedicate so many resources to chess, to do it so tastefully.
Yeah. We are very excited about it. So I must say, I'm not a chess player. I actually got interested in chess from following you and Amrita because I think you guys just make chess exciting to watch. Which is as much of a contribution to chess as it is great players. So which is why I'm so excited that you could come for the event, because when we thought about this event in this very unconventional format of launch, I really felt like the dream team would be like Vishy, Sagar and Amrita. So that happened. But I just want to say that we actually have known Ramesh for nearly 4.5 years, and since then, even though sort of this academy idea came in December, we've been talking to Ramesh every time we meet him, and every time I could see that there was a conflict in Ramesh's mind about should he work with Pragna and Prag and Vaishali, and maybe a couple of 2, 3, 4 players, handful of players in a dedicated manner, or should he work with a number of emerging players and groom them. And we could see that this was a really big conflict in his mind, because he loves working with small kids, but he also wants to be available for these guys, and at the end of the day it's a bandwidth challenge. And I think that it kind of slowly evolved, but December is when it kind of came together, and we basically just said, okay, let's try it out. And we kind of just went into a silent mode, and I think he put a tweet out and he got applications, and they've been working on it, getting feedback, and kind of just incorporating it. And so I think the amazing thing is, because Vellayan was immediately available with the CSR resources, it made that part very effortless. So we could actually focus on the logistics. And I'm really happy that you said this academy is really world class, because I feel like we had no benchmark of what it looks like anywhere else. But I feel like this is a step. Actually, what we really envision is that we are renting this place at the moment, but if it really takes a life of its own, then we would really love to have a dedicated space, and let's see, do more with it.
Having the CSR funds, you have a huge array of options where to put it in.
Yeah.
To put it into chess in such a deep way would have a deeper thought than just the chess part of it, right?
No, Sagar, I think the one thing is that I find it I think it's the most fascinating sport on this planet, and it's just because to think of how complex it is, right, and and what it requires to kind of excel in this sport is actually quite phenomenal, right? And so I think obviously a lot more other sports have grown because they're easy to watch, they're fun to watch, all of those aspects are there. But this as a sport, right, kind of just being, the history of it, and how complex it is, and kind of, just the sheer level of play, right? To kind of think that two humans are kind of sitting on either side of a board, and one has the ability to kind of think in a way that the other, clearly, even with this level of technology, this level of this thing, cannot fathom, right? Even with the amount of analysis, the amount of preparations the players are doing, still, right? And with all the other formats that are making the sport more popular, like freestyle and all of that, where this game can go is just really infinite, right? And I think it is representative of that. And so I really think if there's something that, and like many good players, right, have said that anybody can play this, right? And so if it's something that we can really do, right, as a country, kind of just create a whole ecosystem around, it should be around this sport, right? And so I think like Kanika said, this is a beginning, but really the question is how can we create something that is so differentiated about the sport in India? And it came from here, so it deserves to be done here.
Beautiful. And I've kind of seen through some of the talks I've had with Ramesh that Chola Chess, Chola Group, has been into chess in some way or the other before. I believe that you guys were supporting Arvind since he was very young, but until very recently, he never even wore a sponsorship badge. He was just playing tournaments, and then at some point when Ramesh spoke about it and he started wearing it, realized that you could have done this long time ago, maybe when he was like an IM. But what was the thought behind this? Just supporting without thinking of any returns?
No, definitely, I think that in this area, right, we have to think of just supporting, right? We just look at it, like you said, kind of Chola has been quite successful, been very fortunate from that perspective. And the family has always had that thinking, right, which is that we have to give back to society. And philanthropy is a big part of what we do. And philanthropy takes on different forms, right? And so obviously we do a lot, kind of in the healthcare space and in several other areas, right? Education, sponsorships, and all of that. But I think this area, is something that really I feel is important for us to do. And it comes from an ethos where all of this is not something that you do with a return expectation, right? There can't be, like that thinking that's coming into this. It's just that, when you see some of these young kids and the spark in their eyes, I think it's really, and you see the passion that the parents have, and parents come, they're dedicating, if there's a week-long training, some parents have to take off their job, a lot of parents, right, kind of, they have to take off their job, come here and kind of this thing. So when you see that amount of desire and kind of, for that growth for their kids and for their children, the least we can do is just support it. That's just very little for us to do from that aspect.
But you're just not supporting it. I believe, Kanika ji, I spoke to you today. You asked me what's the time control of the event? You are granularly looking into it, the minute aspects of it. You are into it totally.
So I actually think that in my mind is the differentiator actually. So even when I talk about Chola CSR, they support so many projects. I think it is close to, if I may be wrong, but it is like in the hundreds that they support different initiatives. Of course, this is a bigger one. But I think what differentiates this is, I believe, like it is one thing to support an initiative purely financially. But I think here, what is also different is that there is so much passion. It's become a passion project for Chola. Like the website, we didn't even bring on an outside group. We have developed it from within Chola. The CSR team is so involved. The marketing team has been involved. We're trying to figure out how to now, like manage it, make it more self-sufficient. But I think that is. I feel what makes the difference, because that is when it's like 2 + 2 makes 5, because it is more than the amount of money that you put away for it. It is it's a very special project from Vellayan's perspective, but I think also his enthusiasm is infectious, because I want to say there were like 30 people from Chola today in the audience, and some of them are players who are like leisure players, but I think some of them are just there because Vellayan is playing, and it is a special CSR project, and it's very, very exciting.
When Rakesh and I sat down to commentate, we actually, when in the morning we came, we've been to many events to commentate, but just the quality of the cameras that were there, just the broadcast and all, made us feel like this is already as good as an international super tournament. And this is just a 2-hour event. So the attention to detail was huge. And I think that maybe also will go into perhaps this entire program as it progresses.
We wanted to. So like we have a lot of ideas for the website. I mentioned earlier.
Like the journey of a player.
Yeah. So we wanted to be like, I feel like today there are these 8-year-old players. They are participating in so many tournaments that I feel like unless you are the parent of that child, it is very tough to track their journey. So I think it is really the idea is that they should just. It's a platform in a matter of seconds or minutes. You can just keep uploading your achievements. And that then is where we take it from, like we are going to feed that feeds the social media content. But really the idea is that they can almost plot, they can chart their like FIDE rating as it grows, and the camps attended, like days of camp attended. And at the same time, we also want to enrich what the camps deliver, because as Anand said, like currently it's pretty focused on chess. And of course, in the evenings, Ramesh and Aarthie are so involved. They go for games and badminton usually. But we want to see how to bring in nutrition and fitness. We're going to try some other things as well. There's some other thing that So basically, a lot of ideas that we're going to try out over the next few weeks, months.
So definitely, there's a lot of personal involvement which helps what you are talking about, right? So I think the personal involvement, Ramesh, Aarthie,
and also I must say, like we are neighbors with Vishy and Anna. Like they have been most gracious. Like Anna is more available, so I've kind of been speaking to Anna. I met Vishwanath and Anand once, but everything else, it's just been so forthcoming. It is just amazing. Like they have. Opened out everything. It is like just amazing. It really makes you feel so good about. And it's the same thing with Aarthie and Ramesh. Like I think what really makes the difference for me, this is deeply touching the relationship what I see the children have with the coaches. I don't know if it is like that everywhere, but I feel like it is. They are almost like parents to many of the kids. Where the parents are in rural places, like in the case of Pranesh, with families from elsewhere. He comes and they stay in their house. So I feel like that is a very tough thing to replicate in any kind of a model. But the fact that they are sort of the cornerstones of this is, I think, to Chola Chess's advantage.
Absolutely, and they also now live very close by. So for them to come here is like a matter of 3 minutes. And your family is also a very chess loving family. I saw your kids there, they were already playing chess, like the entire function was done, but they were like busy playing and everyone was talking. So this chess, you played a game today, quite a good game, and it was a well played game. There were mistakes, but one could clearly understand that you knew what you were doing. And I think you love the aspect of all the people coming into chess, so it's a very chess loving family.
And definitely, I'd say that of the sports, we like chess and tennis. These are the two games that we like a lot. I think chess has this additional thing because like I said, it's something that India can be so strong in. And you said it's a resurgence for chess, Indian chess, but it's also a resurgence for India, and that's what's more important, right? I mean, there's a country that we have to build. And building sport is one way of building the country, right? And so I think that both are very intertwined in that way.
That's beautifully put, yeah.
And I also want to say one other thing. I was talking to Ramesh some time back, and Ramesh basically said, Indian kids have become such a force now that foreign players are almost like intimidated because when you have Indian players. And I asked him what is this differentiator, and he basically said, it's the family support. Indian kids have such supportive families, and our family system is. So I feel like that is also a big differentiator in India. And this is a game that doesn't require a lot of resources in way of space and infrastructure. It's perfectly suited for India, and it came from India. So we should really maximize it.
And one of the things we see in all our champions is a lot of humility. Yes. When they are playing. No one is arrogant, no one makes statements which are just loose and stuff like that. And I think in this entire Chola Chess initiative, there is more to chess than, I think there's nutrition. I believe you love yoga. Maybe something of those aspects will be introduced. Would that be true, that there will be much more than chess?
Yeah, we want to look at many options and bring in many options. We'll also keep talking to the kids and Ramesh and Aarthie, get their feedback, and also it has to work into the schedule, so we don't make it overwhelming for the kids. But yes, that is the thought. In fact, on that note, one other thing that came to mind is Vibhuti. You would have noticed a lot of Indian players wear the Vibhuti during their tournaments
on their forehead.
So once I was asking Ramesh why, and he basically said the Vibhuti, Prag wears it because it is to remind them, how short life is and mortality, how we are all mortal. And I feel I didn't get it from Prag, but this is what Ramesh mentioned to me. So I feel like there's some very powerful ideas, which, not everybody will take all the ideas, but I think if this can be a fountainhead for many of those ideas, then it will be a great start for many of the promising chess players.
Amazing. This entire thing about the Vibhuti and this what you explained is also new for me. I didn't know about this, but it makes so much sense. And chess is deeply psychological, so I think it really helps to think in the right way. I want to ask you a final question. There are a lot of budding entrepreneurs, budding young people who want to do something. You guys have actually created something of value in the world, and now you are doing so many projects to give it back. How do you see this? What are the ways in which you see this giving back to the society? And if you could guide the people who are creating some value, what would your advice be?
Yeah, so first off, I think it's at least I don't know, Sabir, you've also seen a lot, but I actually think that there's a lot more pleasure in actually kind of giving back to society than basically this concept of just making money and things like that, right? It is far more rewarding, and one of the things we say in Chola also is part of our CSR, we want all of our employees to get involved in that process of giving back to society. As a matter of fact, any employee across our system can come up with an idea that they want to kind of do as a CSR activity, as long as they get a group of Chola people involved and go and do it themselves, right? Because I think that this is part of us as human beings, right? Which is that we have to take care of society and make society grow. And so I think it's almost a very fundamental responsibility for us as we grow. And definitely, I think as you grow and over time, then doing more of it also becomes more of a responsibility and a duty for all of us.
Amazing. Would you like to?
No, I think exactly what he said. I think just the giving back, but along with that, engaging and involving. Because I feel like without the engagement or involvement, it is just simply not. It doesn't bear the same fruit.
Brilliant. And I can tell you that one of the biggest questions that keeps getting asked by talented youngsters' parents is, where should they train? Where should they get the right guidance? Is there something where they could work with the grandmasters? And because there are not so many grandmasters, they are all so busy, everything is so booked up, and this feels like a new ray of hope for all these youngsters who are going on this journey of chess, which is not at all easy, because you have to keep traveling, you have to keep spending, and you guys have built something beautiful. So thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for coming out and making it really exciting today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ramesh, Aarthie, you guys have done so much for Indian chess, so many different things. Chess Gurukul, of course, being one of the biggest projects of your life. But now starts another amazing project called Chola Chess. Tell us a bit about it. Tell us how it began and how do you guys feel about this?
Okay, maybe I'll start initially. Okay, so it has been my long-term dream. Like even when we were running Chess Gurukul, we have always come across many young players who are very talented, but coming from very poor background and from very rural areas where they don't have clubs, academies, training facilities. And when they reach out to us, we will always feel like very sad that this is the situation that is prevalent in many sections of our society, where the young talented children are not able to afford training. So we started the Chess Gurukul Charitable Trust more than a decade ago to somehow bridge this gap. So I used to, when I was with the Indian team, I used to even ask the players directly for money. So they will give some dollars and then I will put it in our account and then use the money. When it becomes a reasonably big amount, we will sponsor some child to go abroad or get them a laptop and so on. But we understood like it's too little work that is being done and a large amount of need is out there. So we always felt like somehow we have to reach out to a larger audience where the talented children will be able to train with good trainers, even if it's not affordable for them. So mid-December, Kanika and Mr. Vellayan, they asked me to come to their house, and they said like, if you have a dream project in your mind, what would that look like? And immediately said like, I would like to train as many children as possible, a larger audience for free.
Wow.
And as one man, I can only do so much. So we need an army of trainers who can teach, reach out to a large number of students, and that will be quite expensive. And they said like, get us a budget and we will go ahead. So the very next day I reached out to them with the budget and they immediately said, yes, let's do it.
Wow.
And then they said like the first 6 months we will do it on a pilot project and let's see what are the practical problems we face, and we can, once we get a solution for all the bugging issues, then we can launch it officially and take it forward. And then we are full-fledged behind you on this project. And then so we, myself and Aarthie, like she's my right hand. I wouldn't even say right hand because I'm not even doing the work of a left hand. She does all the work, I'm like a nail probably. So she does all the job. So I just come up with these kind of ideas and lot of admin work and dump it on her, and she has to struggle and get it done. So without her help, I don't think this would have been possible. So we have quickly put together some of our players and coaches who are working with us in Chess Gurukul. We formed a small team and started reaching out, putting things in place, created a lot of basic infrastructure, reaching out to players, and then we started this project, and it went very well, and they were also very happy and said let's scale it up, and here we are.
Wow. Aarthie, this journey of how Chola Chess began and you doing a lot of the heavy lifting, how has it sort of impacted your life? Could you share a bit on that?
No, for me the main thing is many people like even ask why are you doing Chola Chess? So what is the purpose? So for me it touches many lives. Like over the period, like now in 20 years, Ramesh is into training now. So for the last 20 years, I have benefited from his training as a low-cost training or a free training. I have personally benefited. So I know how much impact it would make on a person's life, and it would really change somebody's life, upside down. So being on the receiving end, I know how important it is. So for me, it touches many lives. So we are able to give in general to the society, because earlier also from Chess Group, we have been doing this free training for the last 20 years, but we have a small limited scope. But now with this facility, I think with more trainers, we can reach out to like hundreds of kids. So that by itself gives happiness, and when the kids win, it's like, we have achieved something on our own. So that's the happiness.
When you think about how many kids will attend here, like for example 6 groups every month, at least one camp, multiplied into the number of kids who will come and the number of trainers who will teach, this becomes like a huge endeavor on its own, and the amount of investment is also huge. To pull it off in like 6 months, you said, okay, December it starts, and now you are already on road to have this space, is just mind-boggling.
Yeah, I think I always believe if our thinking process is the right direction with the right intentions, I think some of the universe, nature will make sure that like-minded people will come your way and support you. And this has always happened to us in different ventures. Like when we started Chess Group, Charitable Trust, Pro Chess Training, and so many instances we have seen when we are looking for help, it suddenly appears. So I strongly believe that if our intention is good, things will fall in place, and that has been happening, and we want to use it for a larger purpose.
And on the bigger picture like this, for example, I constantly see young talents struggling to get good training. I see trainers being overwhelmed by number of inquiries. All good trainers are booked to the core. Can you tell how Chola Chess will kind of solve these issues? How do you look at it? Also the fact, I think you've been speaking about this a lot, that the next generation has to be cared for. It's not enough to have these champions right now. So just this overall, how will it operationally work? Like if you can share a bit there.
Okay, so what has happened in one good example is like in Armenia. Like they won 2 Olympic gold medals, and then when Levon went to US, and then there were no replacement coming, and the players were all hitting late 30s, early 40s, and then the replacement next generation is not taking up the mantle, and this can easily happen to any country. So it's very important, there is an ecosystem which will cater to the needs of the young generation on a timely basis. So the young children, there will always be talented children across generations. So we have to provide the right infrastructure, provide them the right ecosystem so that their talent doesn't go to waste. Because I've seen hundreds and hundreds of children who could all have become great players, great chess at different stages for various reasons, because there was no proper ecosystem in place. So that is one thing we are trying to bridge here. And also not many players can make a living as a player. Because only very few the resources will be shared only among the very few, among the very best in the world or in the country. So under such systems, I was also never a great player myself. I was always in the middle. So you are neither at the bottom nor at the top. So it's very tough to be in the middle and make a living out of chess. And there are many grandmasters who are in a similar boat. So now through this initiative, we are trying to reach out to trainers also. We want to show them you can make a good living as a trainer. At the same time, you can be very good benefit for the society, the next generation. You can share all your knowledge, experience with the subsequent generation. And so it's a win-win. So the players are getting good trainers. So they don't have to be great players to be good trainers. So they just should feel the need to share and take pride in their students' growth. So I think this is a win-win for both many grandmasters. So we will also be creating simultaneously a good coaches ecosystem. So a lot of coaches will have the confidence I can make a good living from chess. That's also very important for the game, I think.
Amazing. And Aarthie, what do you see what kind of students will come through in your like last 6 months that you've seen? I also heard a lot of kids and parents saying we are going to Chennai. We finished in top 3 in nationals or something like this. We are going to Chennai. There's some free training camp. At first, it sounded kind of unbelievable. But what has been the experience in these last 6 months? And what kind of students are you expecting?
So we generally have a selection criteria, like they should be somewhere in top 10 in their age group, either in rating or in the national championship ranking. So that was the criteria, but we also had little leverage to accommodate kids from Asian who not ranked in the nationals, Asian or any international medal for that matter. So we were trying to accommodate all the kids. So slowly I think we would be increasing the capacity. So we would take promising candidates, even sometimes out of the selection criteria if they are showing progress in some kind of rating increase or something like this. And also international masters are looking to become grandmasters, like in that range. So it's generally open, like they can apply and probably the team would decide and we would, we'll be happy to have them here.
How difficult is this selection process? Imagine now that this is launched, I'm pretty sure that hundreds of people will apply.
Yes.
How tough is it to select?
Now that we have a website, cholachess.com, so all the qualification is going to happen through the website.
Correct.
So once they register, we have a team, our admin team will look into their credentials and then we will select them. If not, we will send them a mail, probably you should apply after some time. So.
No, before the website was launched, all the inquiries will come via WhatsApp message, email,
Yes.
phone calls.
I think
And,
you tweeted once and then a lot of entries came.
Yes, so there's fill out Google Forms and then we have to download it into Excel format and then go through each application, have discussion and so on. So, but now once this website is there in place, all the applications will come in one place, already categorized. So we can quickly go through each application and we can try to get as many deserving candidates as possible. So our aim is we want to provide this opportunity to as many players out there as possible. We hope to double
There is
the number in
there is no kind of region-wise limit. Anyone can. It's not even India-based. Anyone from outside India can also apply.
No,
So we have some constraint, yes.
Yeah, this is a CSR, so India-based Indians, it's for Indians generally. So they can be Indian citizens while living abroad, yes, they are welcome. But the others, it's case to case, we need to see how.
So basically, because it's a CSR initiative, according to the law, we can only provide these facilities for the Indians.
Got it.
So for the foreigners, what we are planning is to charge a very, very nominal fee so that it doesn't become free for them. But that is something we will be discussing in the coming days. So we will come up with a system criteria based on which we will be accepting players from abroad as well. Because we have been getting some inquiries like neighboring countries like Sri Lanka and so on.
Correct.
Some players want to be part of this. So we will have to sit up with the Chola team as well and come up with some criteria.
And how easy or difficult was it to work with the trainers? Getting, you have this amazing list of trainers on the website. I'm sure there are many more. There, Sundarajan Kidambi, I saw Tej Kumar, I saw Debashish Das, Swapnil Dhopade, all these illustrious coaches, well-established GMs. How difficult was it to get them all together for this initiative?
Okay, so usually it is not very difficult. One thing is the scheduling part is the toughest part because many of the coaches are already committed with other students or training programs. So the main challenge is we are reaching out to the students, asking them when they are available, when they would prefer to have the camps. And then we have a substantial number asking for camps in a particular week or so. Then we reach out to coaches and ask them about their availability. So if the availability is there, most of the coaches are willing. Initially it was a bit difficult, but now we have kind of built a brand and many coaches are aware what we are doing and they are also quite happy to be associated with us. And now the next challenge will be to get foreign trainers to come and train students as well.
That will also happen.
That's also going to happen.
That's brilliant.
So we also want to bring in psychologists, a proper sports psychologist whom we are discussing with. We already had few sessions with her. So we want to bring in a proper psychologist who will be part of Chola Chess and she'll be guiding the players. And also today there was discussion about the physical fitness.
Yes.
So we'd like to bring in something like a physical fitness program for the players as well.
So already as such, when the camps are happening here, In the evenings, like the camps will finish at 5, and usually like 6 to 8 or 6 to 9, we are booking some badminton court or other sports like pickleball. So the players are going for various activities. They are doing like a couple of hours of physical training as well.
You know, I came with Jakob Agard back in 2017 for a camp, and I remember how after the training we were all playing down there like hide and seek and stuff like that. And what I've seen is that over the years you guys have kind of become not just trainers for the kids but a part of their life, and this entire journey has also become a part of your life. It's not like, oh, this is your professional life, this is your personal life. It's all intertwined into one. Doesn't that sometimes feel like you guys are just putting in all your time and energy here, or how do you guys think about this? Because even now you have like people coming home for, let's say, lunch, then at night maybe some kids will come and stay with you guys, and so it takes away a lot of your time from that. How do you see this?
So generally it's like, it's the way we live. So we have been like this for 20 years, like even Arvind, Prag, when they were kids, they used to come over, stay. And it was more like you said, it was part of the family. So back then we were in a double bedroom apartment. So that time also we felt it was very, comfortable being with these kids around. So it's like our kids grew up with these kids together.
Yes.
So we don't kind of differentiate. Even now when they come in, they're so casual at home. And I'm very grateful that none of them complain about my cooking. Whatever I cook, they're very happy to eat. So even now, like Ramesh comes home, he stays with us. So whoever, like it can be anyone. Now we have more space, so we can invite more people.
Wow. I think
we enjoy. It's like we have a large family now.
Exactly.
Years, yeah.
And sometimes it does it feel like, okay, we're just putting in too much time here, we'll have no time for ourselves, or you just feel like, no, this is just our life?
Sometimes like usually it doesn't happen like when we are spending time for the other players, we are not having time for ourselves, but it is usually like I feel it when I'm traveling. Like the last 3-4 years I'm also traveling a lot to Europe to train, and so I'm away from the family, and my wife has to take care of chess gurukul, pro chess training, now Chola Chess, the family, so it's a lot.
Yes.
And so she is
also group E4 is there, and I mean
yes, group E4, so it's a lot of responsibility she is taking care. So I just feel bad that I'm not able to contribute in sharing all this burden. So I'm only contributing in one area, like as a trainer to my students, but not in the administrative part. But one good thing is like all these children, we all like each other very much. They trust us a lot, and so that is kind of giving us compensation. Like we feel really grateful for this opportunity.
No, I think this is also very important for somebody to be very professionally, to excel in their profession. They need to be free of all the other thoughts. So I generally take care of everything. So if he needs to be the best coach, then he needs to be free of other thoughts like how to organize this. So it's like I always keep telling him, I'm your hitman. So you just tell me something and I have to do it. So it's been like this. But yeah, it's been like this for 20 years and I enjoy doing it.
Amazing. It's like a great team, that you both are doing. Finally, I want to ask you this. I did ask you at over there, but I would just like to know once more the vision of Chola Chess. Where does this head over? Like I remember that when Microsense started supporting chess few years ago, they said we want top 3 Indians in top 20 in 5 years. And actually it happened much faster. What would be such a vision for Chola Chess?
I don't think I normally don't put a timeline like within this year we have to do this, and even if I do, I will generally keep it to myself because like I feel like sometimes like
it
the
creates
ambitions,
pressure.
as long as it is within you, it has more power than when you declare it openly. Then you feel like you're committed to something in public and you have to somehow make it happen. It puts enormous pressure in yourself. But having said that, the Chola Mandalam group is investing a lot of funds on this project, and they trust me and Aarthie fully to make it work in a professional way and in a productive way. So we want every rupee that is being spent put to proper use, and our way of saying thanks to them is by producing some of the best talents that India can produce from this part. And one thing I also want to share here is like, as I'm also a trainer, so I can understand if some coaches are feeling threatened that their best students are going elsewhere to learn chess, and they may not get the name or the credit that is due. So I try to tell the parents and the players that they should always be grateful for their earlier trainers, the current trainers, and they should never forget their contribution in their career. And we are not replacing their trainers. We only see it like a supplement, healthy supplement in their growth. So we are not looking for taking credit for the students' achievement. We just want the students to do well. And we want the current coaches to not feel threatened by this initiative. We respect every coach in India who is doing a great job. Our full respects to them. And we are in no way threat for them. We are only here to supplement or complement in any way we can.
Beautiful, beautifully said. And congratulations, I was recently in London for the World Rapid and Blitz team, and there was this young boy playing there, Sharbarto Mani. And I interviewed his parents, and they said that at some point they attended one of the camps here, and in one of the sessions for the parents, you were talking about how a parent should be like an AC in the room, that it provides the cooling, but sometimes you don't even realize it's there. And I think that really struck with them, and it actually gave them the path of what they should be doing as a parent. So just these amazing little sharings can impact in such a big way, and I can only imagine how many lives of parents and kids will change thanks to Chola Chess and you guys. So huge congratulations to you.
On behalf of Chola Chess, not just on behalf of Chola Chess, also Chess Gurukul Coaches Training, whatever, personally as Ramesh, I'd like to thank ChessBase India and you, Sagar, and Amrita and your whole team for taking chess to every house in India and around the world. I've seen myself attending some wedding, some stranger will come and say, "You are Ramesh, right?" Yes, I will say, "Yes." How do you know? I have seen you in ChessBase India. So, you have taken the game to every house, and that's an amazing job you have done. And we have a whole chess community, extend our congratulations and thanks.
Oh, it's very kind of you. Thank you so much, and I wish you the best with Chola Chess. Maybe someday I will come to train here.
Yeah,
Thank you.